Like, let's not hide the fact that this economy is struggling. Productivity is amongst the lowest in the world.
Are you losing money as a corporation right now, or are you actually having profit margin increases or profits stabilized?
So
you're losing money?
Answer the question. So inflation is up, interest rates are up, and competition is increasing, which is an undeniably good thing for consumers, which we support. So if you put the three things together, technological change, lowering prices, difficult macroeconomic environment, and a wholly unsupportive public policy environment, companies have to transform and make adjustments, and this is what we've been doing.
Thank you. Mr. Perkins, the floor is yours for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too would like to express my disappointment that you're not here in person. I'm sure you could have got on your private jets to get here without too much trouble. And I'm glad, Mr. Staffieri, that you got your Wi-Fi fixed so that you could be in here. I'd like to start off, Mr. Staffieri, to ask a question. During your acquisition of Rogers, or of Shaw, one of the whistleblowers from your transition team told me, and I think it was also in the media, that you were laying off 5,000 people and bringing these two companies together. How many people have you laid off?
In our coming together with Shaw, we've been very transparent from the outset that there would be duplication of roles. And as we work through the integration, we've been very thoughtful about the way we handle those duplication of roles. And so we launched a voluntary departure program so that our employees had the choice to choose.
Looking for a number. Can you please do? I'm on limited time. I'm sorry. Can you just give me a number?
As we work through those duplication of roles, we work through them. It isn't a number we've disclosed externally. But what I will say is that
since you had a number of conditions, you had a number of conditions that the minister put on this acquisition, which included creating jobs, yet your own transition team said that you were cutting 5,000 jobs. Please answer the question.
Rogers is a net growth company. We made commitments in writing with respect to the Shaw merger, and we are on track to those commitments that we've made.
Okay, so you won't answer the question.
Annual disclosure.
You won't answer the question. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. You also brag in your analysts' reports, your investor relations reports, your quarterly reports to shareholders. You brag about your average revenue per user going up every year. That's why Canadians feel they're paying more, because you're charging them more. So can you comment about why, to your investors, you brag about the average cost per user going up, while here you say and make claims about your Black Friday sale being what we should judge you by on your cell phone rates?
It's important to clarify at the outset that average revenue per user does not equal price. ARPU, or average revenue per user, is an accounting metric which is total revenue divided by number of customers, and it includes services that the customer can choose to add on, like device protection.
And yours has gone up from $50.75 in 2020 to almost $60 now in only 4 years. So I will ask you again, isn't that why Canadians feel their prices are going up and they're paying more, not less?
As I said, the calculation of ARPU includes additional services, but it also includes enterprise revenues, like Tesla is one of our customers. And so the revenues from there are included in total revenues. And so you have those business accounts, which have been growing for us, that have been supporting some of the increase that you see in ARPU.
Mr. Entwistle, I have a question for you. The carbon tax is going up 23% on April 1st. You run, as Rogers and Bell do, quite large retail networks, quite large fleets to manage manage all of your businesses. You also offer or have to maintain diesel fuel for your cell phone towers being brought up. Is the 23% increase in the carbon tax going to result in increased costs for cell phone rates and wire line users? You're on mute, I think.
I've taken it off. I don't envisage that particular cost flowing through to cell phone users. Secondly, Telus is an organization that leverages our technology to bridge time and distance and reduce the carbon footprint. and our goal is to be not just carbon neutral, but nature accretive by 2027.
So you're going to be altruistic and eat those costs. You don't actually pass on and increase taxes to your customers.
I think as an industry, we've shown ourselves to be significantly proficient at eating costs. Again, if you go back to my remarks, compared to the G7 plus Australia,
you can see that, Mr. Entwistle, with the 60% operating gross margin, you're very generous on your eating of costs. A quick question for Mr. Staffieri, please.
Mr. Staffieri, our operating margin.
Mr. Staffieri, if I could. Mr. Staffieri, you claim that you're lower prices than the United States. So I have here, I think your all-in North American plan standard, not Black Friday sale, is $125 for a single line to be data, text, unlimited for North America. I have here a friend's bill who gets 5 lines in the United States, everything around the world included for those 5 lines, and it costs $280. And now that's a family plan. So on an individual plan, I have a friend who went across to Rochester, not far from Ottawa, and get paid $60 for the same global plan. You're charging twice as much as I can get from AT&T, not a little small company, AT&T in the United States as a regular plan. How can you claim that your rates are lower when AT&T is charging half of what you are?
Committee member, I think it's important that we stick to the facts and we compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. In your example, you took a single line and compared it to an AT&T
family line. I did a family line of 5 as well.
Mr.
What you'll
Perkins.
find, and the data is very clear, ISED's own study showed that Canadian prices in virtually every bucket was 25% lower in Canada than in the U.S. Again, refer you to the information that Roger submitted to this committee, showing very clear comparisons of Canadian to U.S. pricing.